Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Well, we need to get started, and I don't want us to wait for so long anymore, because we have people that are joining us from other places too. Before we get started, let's just close our eyes and just pray quickly. Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for the grace to be here again. We thank you for your goodness and your mercy. Lord, we have come here to learn again, and everything that we learn, they're supposed to help our lives. Lord, as we learn this morning, help us to apply this in our lives. Let this help us. We want to grow in our daily lives. We want to improve in things that we do. Let it help us. The dominion you have given to us as human beings, we shall receive the strength to know them today, and the power you have given us to rule our world, we shall receive in Jesus' name. Amen. As we start this morning, things that we want to take a look at is on self-leadership. And one of the most important things that the title we said are revealing the boss that is inside. And before I go deeper into that, one of the things I want us to see is the series that we've been talking about for some time. We've had the first one, which is about who we are, and the second one is about leadership ourselves. And the third one will be about wealth management, and the last one will be about health and wellness. So those are the things that we do for the part of the year, and that's how it's going to continue. And the Lord will help us to learn and we grow through that in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Today we are talking about revealing the boss, an introduction to self-leadership, the boss inside. All of us, the way God has made us, we have something inside of us that helps us to live our lives. And when He made us as well, He gave us things that should help us to continue to grow. And as we continue to live our life, all of these things keep coming in our life. We have challenges that come our way. We have things that come our way. We have people that we live with. We have different things that keep coming our way. And whatever is inside of us is what helps us to live the life that we want to live. And today we'll spend some time to look at the self-leadership. One thing about leadership is the fact that, when we hear the word leadership, we always think it's about position, it's about good deeds and everything. There is more to leadership than just someone that has a title, maybe a president, a manager, a CEO, a supervisor, whatever the case is. But every one of us, when we sit back to look at our lives, we have something inside of us. We all also have responsibilities. And as long as we have responsibilities, you are a leader. Now, your responsibility can be in form of the person that leads a whole company. You can lead a whole church, you can lead a whole country, but we also lead our families too. As parents, we have responsibility over our children. So we lead our families. At the same time also, even if you say, okay, I'm not leading anyone, if you don't lead yourself, others will lead you to the place that you don't want to go. And that's why we also have to take responsibility for our life. That's where it starts from. And something that I want to show here, and before we begin, this is something that I want us to see. You are the producer, director, and star of your movie. Others only come to watch. I want us to think about that a little bit and think about how does that apply to us. If you go to in Hollywood and everything and all the stuff, we all watch movies and everything. And one thing is, in the Hollywood stuff, you have a producer, you have a director, you have a star, you have all of them and everything. And then what do all of us do? We pay to watch. Whether you watch in the cinema, you watch in TV, even the one that I think is free, because you are watching ads, someone is paying for it, so you are paying for that one way or the other. So I want us to think about that for just a moment and see how does that apply to our life. Even though it sounds cinematic, but in one way or the other, it still applies to our life. So I want us to think about it and see how does that apply to me. What do we think about it? it's a quote. I want us to think. I want us to think about the quote and see what does it mean for us.
It means we are the planner, the executor of our life.
But you know, the unfortunate part of it is the fact that in the movie of our own life, many of us are only watching, actually. We are not the one directing. Others are they are acting, even though we had a star in that, we're supposed to star in that movie, but what we do is we take a step back and we keep watching. And we allow other people to continue to direct our life. Now, it can be anybody direct your life. It can be your boss. It can be politics. It can be the government. It can be anybody. Because this world, that's why you don't talk about principalities and powers and all of them and everything. They exist. And the point is to exert their control over your life. And as long as you don't take control of that, what do? You see the control of your own life to them. You know, one thing I want to, many times, as Christians, we always say, I've given my life to Jesus and everything, and we don't do anything. The interesting thing about it is the fact that now, let me show us this. Now, this is Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. When God created man, he said, God blessed them and said to them, fill the earth and take control of it. Rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the air. Rule over every living thing that moves on the earth. That's a control that God has given to humanity. But many times, what we don't do is have given everything to God, then we don't do anything. We fold our hand, and if you look at the place where it's common mostly, that you don't see a lot of self-leadership is in Christianity. Or let me say anywhere you have religion that is so prevalent. Because, I've given everything to God, then you don't do anything. I've given everything to God, you don't change your life. But then what happens is, when you don't control that, others will control it. Because God gave us dominion. He didn't take it away from us. He gave it to us. And he's asking us, what are we doing with it? Those are the things that we as human beings, we need to start thinking about it because, and this does not stop us from serving God, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is, what God has given to be in your charge, what are you doing with it? When Moses said, he said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. He could have gone to serve because he's making a decision. And for us as human beings too, we can make a decision and say, I want to do this. We all have decisions to make. We can make the wrong one, or you can make the right one. It depends on the choices that we make. All of these things influence our life. And those are the things that we'll go deeper into today about. What does it mean for me when God gives me control? What does it mean for me, and what am I supposed to do with it? How should I live my life to the fullest? How should I make sure that I'm in charge of my life? Now, these are a couple of things. I don't know if everybody can see it very well, but one thing about leadership transformation as it goes is the fact that people see where it starts from is leading self. Self-leadership is the beginning of any leadership. A person that cannot control themselves cannot be in charge of anything. That's why we have this. Every leader that we have expectations of them. We expect them to behave in the right way. We expect them to behave a certain way and everything. And things are changing right now anyway. But we expect them to be in respect, because if you want to lead people, you should be able to lead. So you can see that self-leadership, leading others, leading managers, leading functions, business leader, group leader, enterprise, and go far enough to get to wherever you want to get into. But the foundation of it is self-leadership. If we cannot lead ourselves, we can't lead our family very well. If we cannot lead ourselves, we can't be able to lead the children the place they are supposed to go. We can't be able to say, okay, this is what will happen, this is what we do, because those things, they impact all of us. Those things, they affect how we think about our lives. Because if you cannot make the right decision, if you cannot lead yourself, why should I follow you? Because if you are going to the ditch, why should I also follow you to the ditch? And this self-leadership is affecting many families today. It's impacting families because when parents don't know where they are going, they have kids that are following them, Where are they all going? That's why in families, in homes and everything, even as children of God, we need to, because Moses said, as for me and my house. He's making a choice for them. What if he's making the wrong choice for them? So for anyone to lead, the first, because Moses was clear on where he was going. He was clear on what he wanted to do. He was clear on, this is how I'm going to live, this is how I will do, this is what I will do, and we will serve the Lord. Because he's making a choice for them. But what Moses is saying he doesn't know because Moses understood God. Those are the things that we'll go through today about everything about self, because self-leadership is a lot of work. It requires us to liberate ourselves from the things that have been holding us down to be able to focus on who we are supposed to be. And as we go, the Lord will help us today. I've thought about that. Now, what does self-leadership itself mean? We talk about self-leadership and everything, self-learning, everything. What does it really mean? There are two words there, self and leadership. At least we know self is us, right? Now, when we talk about the word leadership, people throw the word leadership everywhere, right? Everywhere you go, there's still leadership and everything. But really, what does it mean? People talk about leadership is influence, leadership is power, leadership is whatever. It's true. They're all true because once you have influence on something, you are leading that thing. Whether it's people, whatever. But when I define leadership, I try to kind of break it down to make it kind of a little easier, a little bit for people to understand. And I say meaning of leadership itself is leader. Because I normally break the word into two. One is the leader, and the other one is sheep. How many of us have been on a cruise before? Or we have seen sheep that are probably whether in movies and everything and all this stuff. When you look at a sheep that you see, the sheep that is on the sea that you are looking at, somebody is controlling that sheep, right? At least sheep cannot just go by itself. What happens? It will sink. Anywhere you see a sheep, somebody is in charge of that sheep. Now let's talk about whoever is in charge of that sheep is the leader of that, because that's the captain, right? Mm-hmm. Now the captain is because if for the ship and everything they will announce the captain will announce we are going here, we are going to Bahamas, we are going to Lagos, we are going to whatever the case is. They will announce in the ship, and now the captain will determine every event that will happen, where they will stop, where they will refuel. The captain will plan for every single thing. The captain will plan what you will eat in the ship that you have. If you are going on the cruise, mostly they give you food and everything. If you are drinking too much, they will stop you from drinking because you will kill yourself. But most of those are the things because somebody is in charge of that. And when we say the word leadership, we will break them into two, the leader and the sheep. Now, the sheep itself is our life, really. Or the sheep is anything that is in your charge. Now, if you are the leader of your family, the whole of your family is your sheep right there. And then we see what is inside the sheep as we go. If you are the one in charge of, maybe you are, as you work as a supervisor, that's again your sheep. Many of us, our sheep are so full that we have so many things in there. You have a family, you have maybe you have a church, you have your business, you have your this and everything. On the job, you have your maybe it's your small team or your big team, whatever. We have all of those things inside our sheep. So the content of our sheep depends. But there is one now. The leader of that sheep also is not outside the sheep, is inside the sheep. And we keep going deeper as we go. Just please bear with me as we go, as we do this, because you will see that how this analogy it fits so much into our lives. And how it can help us to understand, because even if you say you are the only one in your sheep, at least you are there. But leadership itself is a leader of sheep. And if you're not taking care of that sheep, what happens to sheep? That's why many life are sinking. Because the leader is not doing anything. Or they have somebody to hijack that sheep and take them to sink the sheep. If you look at many lives today and everything, people make a lot of wrong choices because the leader is not making the right decisions. Because now you might think that, well, you are making choices. Sometimes the world is making choices for us, and we are only following because we are not making our own choices. We are not determining who we are supposed to be, how we are supposed to go, and what our life should look like. Now, because of time, let me continue because we have so much to cover today. Now, the first thing about it is getting to know yourself, because we talk about a leader, right? A leader is a person. And I'm glad because last time we go deeper into who we are as human beings. And if you have not watched that video, please, as much as possible, watch it because it affects this a little bit. Now, the first thing is getting to know yourself as a person. Now, if you don't know you, you can't lead you. Because you can't lead, because now, let's say, for example, you are the captain of a ship, right? But you don't know Jack, you are the ship. What will happen? You sink the ship. Because you need to know what the ship is about. You need to know, okay, when you need to refuel. But maybe you're the captain of a ship, you don't know when you're supposed to refuel, you will get stranded on the river. What happened? You sink. Or if you are lucky, maybe the coast guard are passing by, maybe they will tell you, if you are lucky. If you are not lucky, what will happen? You will sink. So that's something that, because all of us need to pay attention to getting to know who we are. We need to understand who we are. And what do we need to know? We talk about personality. We need to know our own personalities. We talk about, like I said, we go deeper into that last time. Please, if you have not watched that, make sure you watch the video. Is on the same YouTube or Facebook page that you are right now. Your personality. You need to know, how do you think? How do you react to circumstances? When things come at you, what do you do? We need to know all of those things. They are very important. The second one is your strengths. What do you do very well? Because, okay, let's say you are the captain of a ship, but you don't know how to, maybe your own strength is not maybe counting people. Then, which means you need someone else that will help you to take care of people. Because if you keep doing what you don't know how to do, you'll still be in trouble. But maybe that's where you need to look for help. Now, the other thing is, what triggers you? This is where many of us lose the battle of life, our triggers. The red buttons. Things that people do that get you off your place. Interestingly, all of us have that. We all do. Even though most of us don't want to admit and everything, we have things whereby when those things happen, it puts us over the edge. And what happens is, people that know how to take advantage, they know how to push us towards that place. And once they push us over that place, what happens? We overreact, we do what we're not supposed to do. So those are the things we need to pay attention to. What triggers you? What pushes? Because if you are in control of a ship and then something happens to you that triggers you, you can take the wrong lever and push everybody in the so things to really pay attention to. And then also motivators. What motivates you? What pushes you to be better? What makes you a better person? We all need to, because again, like I said, we go deeper into all of this last time. These are the things, because you need to know, before you can successfully lead anyone, even yourself, you need to know yourself. Before you can successfully lead your ship to the right place without sinking it, you need to understand who you are as the captain of that ship. Those are the things that we need to get to know. So I won't spend so much time on this. We did well last time. But as we go now, one of the biggest things about that is self-acceptance. Many of us, we are yet to accept ourselves. We look up to people so much for validation. Or we look at somebody else and say, that person is doing that very well, then why can't that be me? It can be you. Because the case, until we learn to accept ourselves for who we are, like I said, if you are the captain of a ship and everything, and then you are looking at somebody that is something else, you are going in the wrong direction. Many lives are going in the wrong direction because they don't accept themselves. Until we all learn to accept ourselves, we keep running races that doesn't belong to us. Because the case is, that there is, I think I shared with us last time, he said, you can only be the best version of yourself. He said I'm talking about the Strength Finder book. That book said, they've told us that we can become anything. He said it's not true. You can only become the best version of yourself. That's why you need to know yourself and accept yourself. Because many times we are running somebody else's race. We are paying attention to somebody else. We are focusing on somebody else. And then why do you want to be who you cannot be? Why can't you be the best of who you can be? There is no photocopy of any of us anywhere around the world. Even twins, they're different. You can have kids that look, a father and child that look so much like each other. They can be so much alike, but yet something distinguishes them. Even, twins that look, you can even do so much alike. They have things that makes them, because everyone that God made them unique. So what all of us need to do is, we need to learn to accept ourselves. Stop looking silent at what somebody else is doing. Focus on your own journey. Accept yourself for who you are. Don't sink your ship. Because it's crucial. Now, let's move forward a little bit because of time. Now, who is a leader? So, a leader has strengths and weaknesses. We've talked about that. They do things very well. They make mistakes here and there and everything. And then, a leader also has emotions. One thing about this word that we've seen today is we expect too much from leaders. We think, the person is, because we put them on the place where they don't belong. A leader, the biggest leader you see, the leader of the free world, which is the United States of America, and the smallest person in the world, they are all unique human beings. With emotions, they make mistakes, they do it right, they have strengths and weaknesses, they have strengths and struggles too. And there is one movie that, I think it's a series that we watch sometimes ago at my house. I don't watch that much. There is this lawyer. When she's in court, she's very strong. She's, she takes most difficult cases. When everybody is coming around and everything, she, even in court, she wins almost, even cases that normally the person is guilty. She finds a way to win those cases. But when she goes home, she's a wreck. Mm-hmm. That's why some people that we all look outside and say, this person is that everything. If you look what is behind the curtain, you will cry for them. That's why don't compare yourself with anybody else. Everybody that you see have their own baggages. These days, social media has made things. The fun of social media is people really post about maybe when they are just waking up in the morning and they have things on their hair, everything is terrible. They won't post about that. But they post about what is good. That's where many of us focus so much attention. Everyone that you see, they have things that bring them down behind the curtain every day. We all have our own fears. Things that challenge us. All of us have all of those things. We have our passions too. Things that we love. Things that we say, I want this. We all have those too. And then also we have our preferences. And one thing that we don't talk about a lot much is biases. All of us, it doesn't matter how open-minded you think you are biased in one way or the other. And those are the things all of us need to start to get to know is, what are my biases? What are the things that normally I have preferences for? We all need to start looking at those things. And also we have our personality. We've talked about personality a lot and everything. But bias is one thing we have, because many times our biases can prevent us from seeing beyond who we are. It can prevent us from being able to actually look deeper into other things, because what you close your mind to, you cannot understand it. Now, let me say this, because many times we contradict our biases with our faith. The case is, our faith is our faith. And we need to have faith in God. It's normal. But many times, we use our faith as an excuse to be biased on so many things. Sometimes you need to sit back, look beyond your biases. Now, it doesn't mean you accept that thing. Don't get me, because there's a difference between, I'm not saying that you have to, it's not in life anything goes. But it's about understanding the fact that, maybe let me take time to look, because many times we say, well, I don't like somebody and everything and all this stuff, because you've not taken time to understand sometimes who they are. It can impact us. Or maybe you don't like something. Now, if you want to help somebody, a person that you are biased against, you can't help them. something that you have bias against, you can't, because, and let me give you an example. I mean, this is a biblical example. If you look at the story of Jonah, well, God, because Jonah has bias against people, he was so much biased against them, he wanted God to destroy them. Even when God called him, he saw things what God did because he made himself the judge of everything. How many of us do the same thing? We think we are the judge of everything. Now, it doesn't mean you accept everything, because now what they are doing in Nineveh, God is not saying Jonah should accept what they do. God is saying, go and preach to them. That's what God is supposed to do. But because he has, even sometimes bias we have in our mind, it stops us from hearing God. Because the bias, and you can look at different things. Another example, again, I'm not preaching today, but another example is Peter. When God said, Peter, arise and eat. Peter was arguing, saying, no, that I'm not supposed to, because he was arguing about what it is that God, because he stopped hearing God because of what? Bias. And many of our bias come from culture. Culture, upbringing, different things, all of those things, because those are things we need to start paying attention, because it impacts how we see life. I'm not saying you have to accept it, but examine, don't let your bias prevent you from your future or where you're supposed to hear from God, or things that can advance your life. Many of us, because we don't like some people, even if they can help us, we don't want to touch them. Even sometimes God put our help in places whereby you don't want to go. And then you are wondering, why did God do that? They go and ask him. I don't answer that. But something to really pay attention to, because bias is a thing. And all of us need to really know that. Now, let's talk about the contents of your ship. The last time we talked about the ship and everything, and then the question is, in your ship, now we're talking about leader of ship, right? Leadership. Now, what is in that ship? The first thing is, like I said, is you. If that ship sinks today, you are sinking too. So don't think, well, I'm just the captain. Have you ever seen the captain of a ship that's outside of the ship? Always inside. Mm-hmm. The captain is never outside. Have you ever seen the captain of a airplane that is outside the plane? If that plane crashes, they are all crashing. You can get signal from other places, but the person that controls the plane is inside the plane. The person that controls your life is you, in your life. So if you destroy your life, don't think you won't go scot-free. It's your life. So that's why the first person to pay attention to is the leader. Now, I put this there as money because I think I've said it here. Many times we don't have to talk about money. Because we think, the people that always read this, that money is the root of all evil. He didn't say money. He said the love of money. Money is not a bad thing. It becomes bad. Actually, money is never bad anyway. Our own desires is what is bad. Yes. Yeah. But when it says money answers all things, I think I've talked about it here before. When it says money answers all things, tell me today, what is that thing that calls that money will not answer? Even if you are sick, if you have money, you get to the best hospital in the whole world. Maybe clinic is here in Rochester. We are proud to have it in Rochester here. But if you have money, they even put you in the floor that nobody gets you. You get the best treatment. Even you can even tell them the people that you want to take care of you.
Some people will be waiting for them.
Exactly. If you go to ER, if you don't have money, you go to ER, you stay there for 4 hours. If you have money, you call, they are waiting for you to come in. That's where money comes in. Now, it doesn't mean you'll be healed. You can still die, but money will answer any day, anytime. I tell people, I say, I want to be rich. No, let's be honest, but the case is, because many times, because as Christians, that's why sometimes many of us are poor. Sincerely, because we think that money is not what is bad. It's our desires that are bad. Because many of us, the moment money comes, we elevate desire for that money over God. That's where the problem comes in. You know, if you look at some places before, I mean, while we are growing up in some ways, they've preached to us, they've brainwashed us to think that poverty and Christianity are together. No, they're not. You don't have to be poor to get, you know. Somebody said Lazarus and Abraham, they're in heaven, right? Lazarus was poor in the heart, Abraham was rich. So, if one person that I love reading what he said, that's why Solomon is the wisest person. He said, God, don't make me poor, so I will not go and steal and embarrass you. He said, don't make me to become too rich that I lift up my heart against you. Sometimes when you are too poor, you do what you are not supposed to do. The person that is poor sometimes can steal. Or maybe, in Nigeria most of the time, so if they will say, this is the word that annoys me. You're having a fellowship. After the fellowship, they will come to you, give me bribe. How? That's not poverty to some people. You stop thinking about what it is, because sometimes it takes morality completely away from us. But our money is inside the ship, and what you will do with that money determines also where your ship will go. Because money is crucial in life. It is. And we have to make sure we take care of it because it's part of our journey. The other thing is also other people. Sorry. Other people are in our journey. They could include your spouse, your children, your family, your co-worker, your siblings, your parents, your neighbors, everybody. Other people also, now interestingly, they are there. But here is where the interest, sometimes these other people too, sometimes we cede control of our ship, of our lives to them. Many times in the wrong way. Now, other people is anybody of the 6 billion plus around the world. They're part of your ship too. Now, you may not know all of them, but the ones that you know around you, it could be anybody. And now, sometimes, because many of us, maybe it's the president of a nation or celebrity, we cede control of our life to them. Instead of being part of our journey, we become part of their own journey. We even donate our own ship to them. It doesn't mean they like it. Many of them don't even know you. And that's why I tell people, if you see politicians, you die for them, good luck. Because at the end of the day, once you die, they might not even know your name. That's just the way it goes. So, those are the things all of us need to pay attention to, because there are people because they should be passengers in your own ship, not the one driving your ship. Something to pay. The other thing also is other resources that we have. Because like I said, we are in charge of so many things. We might not know them, but we are so much in charge of those things. Other resources that we have around the world, it could be your house, it could be anything that you have. You are in charge of them, and you're supposed to pay attention. Now, so you are not the only one in your ship. Because there are so many things in there. People are there, everything is there. All those things, we have to pay attention to them. Because if you don't pay, because another thing also is, when we make wrong decisions as leader of the ship, let's consider other people in our ship too. Because when we do bad things, it affects people. Every wrong choices that we make in the journey of our lives, so we hurt many people unknowingly. Family members, friends, and everything. For example, there is this. I don't know whether you heard about this cruise accident that the kid was drinking so much on in the ship, and the father rebuked him. What did he do? He jumped in the sea. He haven't located. Nobody knows what happened to him. He didn't even locate him. So he was making wrong choices, he might think, well, it's my life. But what about these people that are in there too? Because when I'm talking about owning your ship, it doesn't mean you ignore people. You have considerations for them. That's why your choices matter. The things that we do plays a long way, because we have to keep paying attention to those things. They go a very long way. Now, these are a couple of things that I want us to pay attention to. If you are inside the ship, what are the things, when the ship is going, where is the ship passing through? The ship is going on what? On the sea. of the sea, whatever it is. That's okay. Now, in the sea, what can happen in the sea? Or the sea, what can happen sometimes? Remember Jesus and the disciples in the sea. There will be wind, there will be ocean, there will be things that are... Now, do you have control over wind? Do you have control over the sea itself? No. What do you have control over? The ship. That's the only thing. You have control over that ship, but there are factors that are beyond our control. It doesn't matter how we look at it, they are beyond our control. Even sometimes, the first one I would say is the economy. The economy can go up. I mean, we all know what happened during the recession 2008 and everything, when the economy collapsed and everything. You didn't make it collapse. It collapsed. Many of the things that happened, they are not your choices. Somebody else made those choices. What do? You need to learn to adapt. Because many of us, because we focus so much on things, because it doesn't matter how much you do. There is something they call in project management, they call it agile project management. It's agility. It means ability to adapt to situations quickly. Things are changing. The economy is changing every single time. Are you adapting? Somebody said there are some people whereby they love their typewriter so much that even till now they think, well, what skill do you have? I can type 100 words per minute. Who cares? Your typing skill is irrelevant now. Now, because look at the gig economy. Everything is transforming and everything. If we don't transform, it will leave us behind. Because the economy is going, and because the economy is a wind that is blowing on your ship. If you don't transform, your ship will just be behind or sink. Things to think about because it's always there. Sorry. Politics. Now, I'm not here to campaign for anybody, but anybody can become president. Republican, Democrat, and whatever the case is, they fight among themselves, cut and everything. Now, it will always happen every 4 years. Now, even countries that don't have democracy, the political nature of their stuff, it impacts what happens. Look at Russia. They've had the same leader for how many years? But look at it. They chose to fight the war in Ukraine. All of this is because now what happened? They are drafting people that don't want to go to war. What happened? You look at those because they are decisions that you don't make. So all of these things will keep happening. That's why if you are not in control, all of this will drag you and will sink your ship. We need to pay attention to what we do, because things are happening around us. You don't have control over them, but you have to consider them. That's why, if you look at, the captain of the ship and everything, they always watch the wind. They look at the wind, where is the wind speed and everything and all this stuff. And sometimes they will cancel some trips. Why? Because of the ocean current. They say, okay, if we go, it's too dangerous. What are the things that you think are happening around you that is too dangerous for you to dip your head into? Are we paying attention? Because there are factors, it doesn't matter how much you try, there are factors beyond our control. Politics will always be there. It will always happen. The question is, as it's happening, how are you adjusting your life to cope with whatever is going to happen in that? Another thing also is the global factors. If you look at all this immigration and everything, China is fighting the US, China is coming up with this, Russia is this and everything. They are, let's say, for example, look at what is happening in Israel. We are talking about thousands of miles away. Look at what happened in the US campuses. There is no fight between Hamas and Israel inside the US. Yet, it's impacting lives right here. So there are things that happen, for example, the Nigerian economy, anybody that's from Nigeria in the US and everything is impacting your pockets. You are not making decisions in those places. The government is making wrong decisions, yet you have families that if you don't take care of them, you cannot live anyway. The same thing, when your father are immigrants, we pay their price. So global factors will always happen. Things that you don't impact. People, if you people that invest money into stock market and everything, There are places whereby, there are some countries whereby you cannot put your money in there because of some challenges. Some stock went down because they are so deep into Russia or other places. They are impacting so many things. So those are the things that we need to keep looking at in our life is as things are happening because you cannot be blind to what happened around you. You have because it impacts your life. Another thing also is life challenges. We've talked about it here, and I think we've preached it so much in our sermon about life happens. Many times it's not what you did wrong. It's not the things that life happens to everybody. Doesn't matter who you are. So when life challenge, there are factors sometimes you don't plan for. How do you adapt to them? Because life challenges will come. The question is, what are you doing today to be there? Social environment. Between year 2000 and 2024, look at how the world has transformed. You remember the dot-com bubble in 2000. Look at how technology has shaped the social life until today. Look at how things have changed so much. What used to be norm then is not the norm anymore. Culture is changing very fast. I would say the culture has changed so much in the last 10, 20 years compared to before. Because it is being impacted right now. Environment will continue to change. The question is, how are we going to change to make sure that we adapt to those things? Another thing also is technology. So we're talking about it. Technology has come to stay. Many years ago, for you to talk to somebody anywhere around the world, you need to go and queue in the phone booth. I remember when we were in college in Nigeria, everybody talk to your parents, you need to know when they will be in a place to receive call, and you need to make sure you have a time to call, and you also have money to put in the big, and everybody's queuing to make a call. Look at me, you can talk to anyone, anywhere around the world today, right where you are. It tells you, now, news. It used to be, all of us, you are at 7 o'clock, my parents knew that, my dad is during that period. If he's at home, we have to watch news at 7 o'clock. You have to watch English news, Yoruba news. Next one is at 9 o'clock. So the news is everything. But now everybody gets news 24/7. So those are things that are transforming. They are the things that's going to affect our lives. What are we doing to make sure we are part of that? We've talked about other people. What somebody else does, you can't control it. How they choose to live their life, you can control it. Whatever they choose to do, whether you like it or not, they have their own ship. So, but sometimes their own ship is bumping into you. Because like I said, all of us have sometimes they are good job, or sometimes they want to hijack your own ship. But the question is, what do you do? So we have to know that. And again, other factors that we might even be able to get to, there are many of them that impact that you don't have control over them. Pandemic came. What do you do about it? You can't explain it. The only thing is, how do you protect your ship from being destroyed by the pandemic? There will be different things that will be happening. There are a lot of things that will go around our world. The question is, what are we doing to make sure all this? Because if you don't design your ship very well and you are not in control, all these factors, they are the ocean current and the wind, they will blow you away. Or they sink your ship. So things to make sure we are paying attention to it because they are so crucial. Now, I want us to have a 5-minute reflection before we continue. And I want to think, how much did you know about yourself and your ship? We will talk about your ship is your life. So, how much do you know about yourself as a captain of that ship and also the ship itself? How much do you know? I want us to take a few minutes to reflect because we have the part 2 of this that will continue in a few minutes. But I want us to think about it and see what does it mean for us. And we can take a quick break as well. So if you're online as well, let's take a quick break. And then we'll take some quick questions after a quick break. So before we go to the second part. So we'll come back in 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes we'll come back.
Cinnamon. What do you enjoy?
Oh, is that cinnamon? I said sugar.
Yeah. I hate them, man.
Yeah, that's sweet.
There's a sweet, there's
Yeah.
sunshine there.
Okay, I think we should get going. So before we continue, any questions? Any question? Yes.
I have a simple question.
Okay.
So you mentioned as a leader, every leader has their emotion, passion, and preferences.
Yeah.
So what happens, like, if you have like followers, like people in your sheep, maybe they have different preferences, or and they have different passion, maybe you like football, so that person I like volleyball. So how are you going to work together?
Yeah.
in
So
this situation?
yes. So definitely, I mean, it's one of those things that happen in leadership, obviously. And first is we are saying that as leaders we have our own passion and everything, because all of us are leaders in one way or the other. And in your ship as well, there are people also with different passions too. They have their own perspective. That's why everyone needs to have their own ship and everything. That's why you look for alignment. Because one thing is, many of us, because again, the way we have our own ship, we're going to somebody else's ship too. If there is no alignment, then what do? You go your separate ways. Because you can't keep forcing yourself to be in a ship that you don't belong. Also, you can't force someone to be in your own ship if you don't want to be there. So, many times, naturally, we all have relationships. And we all like to hold on to them. And it's good to do that. But there are times whereby we need to give it up sometimes. And I'm not saying we should go and break it, but there are times whereby if there is no alignment, there is no point being in the same ship. Because if you are both fighting for control of the ship, what happens? You sink the ship. So sometimes, if there's no alignment, if the passions is different, if everybody wants something different, it's better for them to just drive their own ship by themselves. And natural, because again, alignment doesn't mean we all want the same thing, but okay, I can give up this for you to be part of that. So you have my own ship, for you to be part of that, I will give up this. To be part of yours too, I will give up that, so that you're able to kind of maintain balance. But someone to give up, you are the leader of your own ship, but they want to give up every single thing about your life so that you can become part of that. I don't think that's wise. And sometimes this is common so much in marriages, many times too. Because many times you have to give up every single thing about your own life, part of somebody else's life. Sometimes you are missing so because everybody should be able to continue to grow. Because again, it doesn't mean that you have to be both fighting for control. It's finding the alignment. Now, someone can give up more than the other person. It's normal. But at the same time, should you be completely give up every single thing to part of somebody else's ship? Sometimes it's unwise. So being able to find out, because it's alignment that matters, it's not giving up on it. I don't know if that answers the question. Other questions? Yes, sir.
My question is about the sheep.
Yes.
And our life is compared to the sheep.
Yes.
When I look at the definition of life, according to the Bible, he said it's like a fable that passes away. And Macbeth defined life as a tale told by an idiot, full of sand and food, signifying nothing. And the basic of our existence and our living according to us as a Christian is the Bible. How do we reconcile our sheep not to be fully and sand that we signify nothing? That is the first question. The second question is, as a sheep, at times you can be overcrowded and can lead to disaster. How do we control that so that our ship will not crack?
So the first one, I want to make sure, how do we make sure we live our life so that it's not full of sand and other things? So we'll go deeper into some of this, and I think that part will answer a couple of questions. Because there are some things about our ship that if we don't do them very well, sand will come in. It's like the house that was built on the rock and when I was built on the sand. Again, because again, there's something they say in Yoruba language. They said when the wall opens, the lizard comes in. If you open your ship to every dig and hurry, everything will come in. And those we'll talk more deeper into that. I think maybe after we can hold that question. If it's not resolved, then we can talk about that later. The second one we talk about, so can you ask that question again?
Yeah, how can we prevent our sheep to be overcrowded?
Yes. Now, there is also I'll go to you, but you said that the sky is wide enough for the birds to fly. The sea is large enough for any number of ship to be there. But there are times also whereby when life can become overcrowded. It's not every time that your ship has to sail every single time. There are times, if you look on the sea, if you go on the cruise as well, there are times whereby they stop in a specific place. There are times whereby we need to take a rest. and allow things to clear, because if you be in a crowded place, it can knock you out. So again, I think our next few slides will probably answer some of those questions as we continue that. So, but thank you for sharing that. Other questions? I think one more before we continue. Any question online? Any other question? I think we can continue. So now, becoming a better self-leader. Those are the things that we will spend some time on. Yeah. So number one is moving on from the past. Many of us, we have become the victim of our past. It doesn't matter what happened in life, life will happen to us. But many times we hold on to what happened to us that we don't let go of it. There's a quote here, most of it, what we do is have a lot of quotes say, the people that put you in a hole are not living in the hole. You are the one living in the hole. Anybody could have done anything to you. And don't get me wrong, people do things to you, people do a lot of bad things to us. But many of us, we keep living in the place that they put us, that we refuse to move forward. It can be from parents, it can be from friends, it can be from anybody. But it puts you in that hole, and we stay in that hole. Whatever it takes to get out of that hole. Because, like again, you're talking about when the place is overcrowded. People could have knocked you into a place where you don't want to be. You can choose to stay there and sink, or you can just say, you know what, I'll come out. And if you need to look for help, you look for help. Maybe you need prayer, you need therapy, whatever it is to do, because sometimes because whatever people push you, don't become a victim of your past. Because the past is past. And don't keep living in the past because it continues. Now, a couple of things is, the first thing is, we need to acknowledge our past too. Because sometimes some people want to brush things under the rug, as if it never happened. It happened. Acknowledge it. It happens. The question is, what do you do about it? Because when it happens, because you learn from it, you grow from it, and you tell yourself, okay, this has happened, I'm not allowed to happen again. The other thing is forgiveness. Now, forgiveness is one of the most difficult things to do. But we all think it's very easy. No, it's not. Especially when the person did not apologize. When the person sees clearly that they are right, but it hurts you so much. Now, the forgiveness is not because you're not doing it because of them. You are doing it for you. Now, forgiveness doesn't mean that the same person that hurt you, never already hurt you, you keep going with them. That's not forgiveness, because sometimes many of us will mistake forgiveness for foolishness. Somebody that did something bad to you, they never even acknowledge it, or they never change their ways. You think when I forgive them, life does not mean, if forgive doesn't mean it has to remain the same. It means you let go and you let them be. There are times whereby things can go back to normal because the person, they did something wrong, they change their ways, they do everything possible to say, you know what, this is something. You forgive them, and then you can move on with them. And you can see changes in them, not because they are pretending. Over time, you've seen that they've changed their ways. Why not? But a person that never changed their ways, and you tell me forgiveness is now opening your boat to them again, they will sink your boat again. The other thing is lessons from those hurts. Because sometimes what I've learned as funny is people that have been hurt in the past, they tend to hurt other people too easily. What happened most of the time is they did not acknowledge what happened and didn't learn anything from it. Even though it hurts them, what happened to them, they keep doing the same thing to others. Because they didn't learn from it. They keep living the same thing over and over again. And again, the last one is fresh starts. Give yourself a chance to start over again. Because if you keep living in the same thing, because again, like I said, don't be a hostage of your past. Sometimes don't let life hold you hostage. Don't let life put you in a box. we've talked about it. We've talked about the sheep and everything. The sheep, that's many things around. Many times, our sheep just remain the same, and we're not moving anymore because we are thinking of, there was a voyage some time ago. The economy was bad, and then you remain the same. What happened? Another wind will blow. When it blows, because you are not moving, what happened? It sinks you. So let's not become a hostage of what has happened in the past. To become a better self-leader, we have to be able to put our past behind us. Now, I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do. Like I said, whatever you need to do, if you need any intervention, go for it. Because as long as you remain on the same spot, you choose not to move, your ship remains on the same spot, what happens? With time, it will sink. Because water will come in. And it sinks you. So something to really make sure we pay attention to. The second one is take responsibility. Now, this is one of the most difficult things that many of us struggle with. It's easy for us to allow someone else to take responsibility and say, well, they did it. But most of the time, we don't take responsibility for our life. And here's something, say, take charge of your life. You own it. If you allow others to break it, you will lead it. Because if you don't make sure you are in charge of your life, and you allow anyone to come in and be able to do anything with your life, when they break it, you are the one living a broken life. Many times, that's what has happened to us in the past. People broke our life, but yet we stay in there. We continue to allow them to continue to break our lives, continue to destroy us, and we keep living the same thing over and over again. And then you're thinking, well, things are not getting better. It won't get better because you didn't learn from it. You keep allowing people to keep breaking your life and to keep destroying your life. Unfortunately, you are the one living with the odds, with the guilt, with the broken life. You are the one that live. If you are able to break your life, you will live your life. That's why taking responsibility for our life is crucial. And something is our relationships. Who are you allowing into your life? Who are you allowing to be part of your journey? Who is coming into your ship? Who are you allowing to continue to be able to be? Because, like I said, even though you are the leader that is in control, some people will come to your life and they want to bump you away from the journey of your life. So you have to tell yourself, you are responsible for who you allow into your life. Many times when things happen to us, many times, it's quicker for us to say, it's that person's fault and everything. But many times we forget that we allow them to come in. If you have the wrong person into your life, you will pay the price for it. If you allow the wrong person to rock the boat of your life or to be able to do everything, because, for example, let's say you allow someone that come into your ship, as I was talking about, and the person keep opening the door of the ship to allow others to come in. You allow them to go with you. But you might say, no, you are not coming. Because whatever we allow in our lives, it impacts our lives. Yes, sir.
Can you repeat the question? Because those online, when we ask the question, I don't think they're hearing us.
Oh, okay.
So when I ask the question, if you can repeat it, so that those online will hear it.
Okay.
You're talking about a lot of people in our lives.
Yes.
There are people that, whether we like it or not,
They're part of it.
they're part of it.
Yes.
Your spouse, your children, your mom and dad, your extended family. How do we deal with that? Just that you have no
Choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
if you can repeat that question.
okay. So the question is, I will talk about relationships and allow people into our lives. Now, how do we deal with people that, whether you like it or not, they are part of your life? It can be your parents, it can be your children, it can be anybody. And that is normal. You can't do anything about them, but you can know how to manage that relationship. I've seen many situations whereby some parents and their children don't get along. I've seen a place whereby, the interesting about it, especially when it comes to parents and children, because those ones are very, very close, or siblings and everything. None of us determine who comes to life with us. You don't determine your parents. Some people, if you ask many Nigerians, they will tell you, I was born in the wrong country. They say, we didn't come to the wrong world, we came to the wrong country. You don't determine the country where you are born. There are many things you don't determine. But the question is, how do you manage those things? Let's say, for example, there's a parent that you know keep hurting you every single time. Again, we talked about forgiveness the other time. You know that, okay, if this person will continue to hurt me, now I can't push them away, but you should find a way to make sure that they don't hurt you anymore. Let's say, for example, you keep giving somebody money and they keep wasting your money and everything. Oh, I've forgiven them, you give them more money again. They do the same thing again. I've forgiven them. That's why forgiveness comes with wisdom. Forgiveness doesn't mean that a person that never repented, I mean, by the grace of God, we spend some time on forgiveness. Because what happens is, everybody loves forgiveness. But not many people understand that because before you can fully forgive, because human being can forgive you, it doesn't mean God forgives you. Sometimes the person that forgive you also forgive you for the sake of their own peace, not because you are the right person. Because forgiveness starts from responsibility. I have done something wrong, it's my fault, and I will do it differently. That's where it starts from. And then you repent. You say, this is something wrong that I've done. I shouldn't have done that. I forgive you. And then you get full forgiveness. But many times it's somebody that did not change their ways and everything. Sometimes you need to learn how to manage, how to deal with them. Otherwise, they will keep saying, because those ones, they are there by default, but you can determine how long the space they will occupy in your ship and where you put them. That way you can't push them away, but you have to determine where you put them. So I don't know if that answers the question. Right. Another thing also is, again, your future is your responsibility. Many times what I've seen, especially for children and parents and everything, parents can do and undo. They can help you as much as they can. They might not help you as much as you can. But a time, I was talking to someone one day. She told me, she said she was born in a place whereby both the dad and the mom, they are drug addicts. She said from a very young age, what saved her was because there was a program that she used to go to. A very young person, she has to make a choice. To say, and today she's a PhD holder, a lecturer. A professor in school. So, but at a point, we need to start making a choice on what our future will become. Because we are responsible for it. Like I said, the people that put you in a hole, they are not living in the hole with you. A time comes, you have to tell yourself, what will my future be like? Otherwise, you continue living in the same cycle. Many of us we are living in a loop. It continues. You cannot allow the cycle to continue because sometimes we have to make a decision of what our life will be. So our future is our responsibility. It doesn't belong to our parents, doesn't belong to anyone. It's our responsibility. We are responsible for that. And that's where, because leadership is about what? Responsibility. And we are responsible for our lives. You can say, well, God is not actually responsible for your life. We make that mistake. Because God, the mistake that many of us make is the fact that God has given us everything. That's why he said, be fruitful and multiply and have dominion. He put everything in your boat, in your charge. Where you are saying, God, I'm not saying you should not pray to God for where you are supposed to be. It doesn't mean you don't pray, but don't always think that, well, I will just fold my hands and God will just take me somewhere. It's never going to happen. So something to really pay attention to, because our future is our responsibility. The other thing also I want to say is taking the challenge. Life is a challenge. And your boat also is a challenge. So the limit of your self-challenge is the limit of your growth. Many of us, until life challenges us, we don't move. Even some people, life challenges them, they still don't move. So if you don't challenge yourself, you will not grow. You just keep remaining the same person over and over and over again. Because again, like I said, there are things around us that will keep impacting us. But until we start thinking, you know what, this is challenging, my life is my own challenge, I have to take it, I'm responsible for it, and I will do it. Otherwise, we keep living the same loop of everything that has been happening. So a life is a challenge. Again, if you don't challenge yourself, you won't grow. Then we've talked about it several times. We don't grow when things are good. When things are bad, that's when growth comes in. And when things are bad, you have to push yourself because, like I said, the future, again, we talked about the future the other time. Because the narrative of life. You know, there's this in the Manako, they said that multiple generations, they don't become poor. If you don't do anything different, you'll still be poor. I've seen many, you know, Ben Carson said something some time ago, and people were disparaging because of his affiliation with Trump and everything. But he said poverty is a mindset. He said it's not a situation, it's a mindset. And if you look at it truly, poverty is because the case is, he said, there are people that are poor. That not everyone that is poor also is not hardworking. But the ones that are poor, that don't do anything because they are not taking the challenge, he said, put them in riches. He said, go on, after many years, they become poor. That's good. Some people that win lottery, look at many of them. They have that money, they become poor again. Because they have no plan for their money. He said, but there is the one that are rich. Strip of everything, put them in poverty. He said they will come because the mindset is different. Whatever we come in our life, the challenge to do something different is our mindset. So if you're not taking the challenge of life, we will not grow because it depends on us. Now, it's curiosity. How much do you know? How much else do you want to know? We have to be curious every day to learn new things, to understand, to build ourselves. Otherwise, you remain the same place where you are. Another thing also is your thoughts. Because our thoughts are our lives. Until we change the thought, again, like we said, poverty is a mindset. Because what you meditate, what you think about every time, it manifests in your life. If your thought is pushing you in the wrong place, start changing it. You know, that, like I said, because the case is, everything that circumstances will always happen. The question is, how are you going to get out of it? What are you thinking about? What voices is coming to your head every single time? What are you hearing? That's why the Bible says, faith comes by hearing. And you know, if you look at Philippians 4:19, Philippians 4:8, he said, whatsoever things are lovely, things of good report. He said, think on these things. Because your thoughts determines our lives. And we have a challenge because here's the funny thing about life. Bad thoughts come to us more natural than good ones. That's why we have to make sure that we change the way we think. Our mindset has to change about, you know what, I have to think about something better. Otherwise, if you don't change your thoughts, and what you think about remains the same. Again, our mindsets. Similar to our thoughts as well, what's our mindset about life? You know, some people will think that, I will just wake up, money will just come. Good luck. Because, you know, when we talk about, you know, I will not work hard, I will just work smart. They're not doing anything. They're working smart. I said, you know, the problem is, because that quote, people misuse it. A lazy person will say, I'm just working smart. What are you doing? You're lazy. You're not doing any work. Because working smart means putting your work, your hard work, in the right place that yields maximum increase. But there is no replacement for hard work. It doesn't matter how much you put it because, you know, somebody said something I posted. Somebody said, many of you will say Bill Gates is a dropout. Mark Zuckerberg is a dropout. He said, do you know where he dropped out from? Harvard. They dropped out from village school. He said they are dropped out because there was something big that they saw. And here's the interesting thing. Many of them, go and ask them, Harvard professors come to their house to teach them to go to the next level. So if you think, well, I'll be a dropout and I'll be rich, it's not going to happen. If you look at some of these basketballers today, Steph Curry, Chris Paul, they all went back and finished their degrees. There is this guy, Rodri, from Man City. I mean, the guy is doing, while he's playing, Rodri is one of the best superstars in soccer today. Yet he's doing his master's program while he's playing soccer. So somewhere education is a fraud. Quit lying to yourself. It's not a fraud. The question is, many people don't know what to do with it. I mean, I don't know this guy too. I mean, the Vincent Company. The guy, while he was playing for man, earning so much money, he was doing his MBA at the same time. So people are even thinking that with time, maybe we go with Prime Minister of Belgium is a matter of time. People are saying because the mindset that anything, dropouts. Who told you they are dropouts? By the time you see what they know, that's what made them great. So our mindset about things have to change about the way we see life. The other thing is focus. We have to be focused. And yes, something say, be broad-minded but narrow-focused. Because when your mind is broad, you learn, because that's your curiosity, you learn many things. But because if you're not focused, you'll be all over the place. Know where you are going, set your goal, and keep going there. We have so much to cover, so I'll probably move faster. Delayed gratification. This is something that many people have missed in life. So never give up what you want most for what you want today. Because many of us, we want it now. It's my money, and I want it. You know, if you that, it's my money, and I want it now. You know the funny thing about that, those are what do they call them? They are high interest loans. So it's your money, and you want it now. When you want it now, the interest you pay on it is more than you pay it throughout your life. Until we all learn what they call delayed gratification, we keep using the best of our life for something else. Because there are times whereby you give up something because of the future. See, you know what? Because if you look at, again, another Bible example, you look at Joseph. Say, why will I do this and sin against God? He was looking at the throne and said, no, I still have a place on it because the dream is alive. What will happen if he's in the Potiphar's house, the chief slave, nothing more than that. But said, I will give up chief slave to become the prime minister of the world empire then. Two different things. So something for us to think about. Again, sacrifice. Sacrifice is one of the biggest things, especially for young people, because this day is about everything is everything right now. Fast food, fast internet, fast whatever. Everything is not fast. Sometimes you have to sacrifice something to get something else. Endurance. That is one word that you don't hear so much anymore today. Endurance is crucial in the journey of life. Because until we learn to endure things, we cannot get any better. Endurance is key in the journey of life. Another one is ambition. When you have the ambition for where you want to go, you learn to sacrifice. Because if you don't know what your future will be like, then what are you delaying gratification for? But when you know where you are going, you learn to say, you know what, I will give up this to get this. As I was talking about Joseph, Joseph knows he has his own ambition of where he wants to be. That's why he can sacrifice the pleasure of the moment for the ambition. Contentment. Many times, I think we've talked about this many times here before, but for people that are probably joining us for the first time today, ambition and contentment, they are not opposite to each other. Actually, they enable each other. Funny enough, this morning I heard something. The person said, be grateful for what you have while you are working towards what you want. That's the relation between ambition and contentment. You know where you are going, but you are still grateful for what you have today. That's something that is missing in the world. Everybody wants to jump from 0 to 100. It doesn't work that way. We all need to learn delayed because it means that you know what, I will give up $1 today for $1 million tomorrow. For many of us that don't, many times I ask myself, I should have invested that money in stock market. Because, the money that you invest in stock market today is the money that you don't have. But that money is in the, by the time, after many years, what happened? It yields for you. The same thing also, whether it's retirement also, because if you keep always, like I said, we'll talk about retirement in our next seminar. Because the money you don't invest in retirement today, you pay for it in the future. Because every single dollar that you don't allow to go into your retirement, when you're supposed to retire, you will not be able to retire. Because again, delayed gratification is crucial in everything that we do. Self-deception, the big one. Lies can make us feel good, but it doesn't make us good. One thing that is common, because all of us like to feel good. You tell, oh, you are the best. Oh, you're good. Oh, you are this and that. All of us love it. Who doesn't love to be praised? But that's why many of us, we've sold ourselves to deception. And who are they? Yes, people. They tell you everything you want to hear. And what happens is, when people keep telling you what you want to hear, they will derail you. They will derail the ship of your life. They will destroy it because they are not the ones telling you the truth. Truth hurts many times. Some people even tell you in the way you don't want to hear it. I think I've said it here many times because there are times where people will tell you the truth you don't want to. It's not the way they would. Not all person will tell you the truth in a nice way. Sometimes it will hurt you. But when it hurts you, what do? You now stop focusing on the how, focus on the what. Is it true? Now it doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt you. Don't get me wrong, because there are times where you need to ruminate over how hurtful you are. But when you're done with being hurt, ask yourself, is that true? If it is, change your ways. Because if you keep focusing too much on, because some people, it doesn't matter how you even tell them the truth, they will be offended. If you keep becoming offended every time you hear the truth, your ship will sink. Some people, you can even beg them to say, please, I think this is wrong. They will still be offended. If you keep becoming offended every single time, it's not good. Now, some people focus so much on image than the truth. It's about what people feel about me. It's about what I look like. Over time, that image will be destroyed, and there is nothing. Because you don't hear the truth. The other thing is pride. When we become too arrogant to listen to the truth, what happened? You have to yes people. The one that tells you the truth will go away. Yes people will keep deceiving you. And what happened? It promotes our deception. And what happened? Pride goes before destruction. Truth. Truth, like I said, hurts many times. But we need to open ourselves to the truth. It's not going to be present every single time. If any good leader that you see, any one of them, they are open to feedback. They don't surround themselves with yes people. They look for people that tell them the truth. Because that's how they get better. All of us need to get better, and we all need feedback from people that tell us, not people that lie to us. Because lies can make us feel good, but it's not going to make us good at the end of the day. Emotional intelligence. Emotions are powerful, but they are well within your control. How we react to things and everything. All of us, like I said, if you look at the beginning, emotion was one of them. We all have emotions. And we react. But sometimes, and I think the last time we talked about this specifically, because many times we think emotions, they are not more powerful than us. They are the reactions that we, and by training, by feedback, by things, we can get better at controlling our emotions. Because the way you react yesterday, you should learn from that. At least if your anger is always at 10, over 10, By tomorrow it should be 9/10. And with time, you learn to control it and suppress it. There's one passage I read in the Bible that recently that it's knocking me. He said, fools express emotions all the time, but the wise ones know how to suppress it. It doesn't mean you get there one day, like I said, because all of us have a long journey to go. But don't have the same reaction every single time. It means you are not learning. And I'm talking to myself, and not if you apply to me, because I'm teaching myself to how not to react to the same situation the same way every time. We all have a long way to go. But the main thing is how, because emotions sometimes can derail our journey easily. If you look at the captain of a ship that is angry, before you pull the wrong lever and you sink the ship. Our actions and reactions to things. Emotions drive a lot of those things. You need to pay attention. Reflection. That's one of the biggest things about it is if you react somewhere, somehow the same day, if you learn to reflect, you can look at resources that can help you to build on how do I control this emotion as I go. It's crucial. Empathy. Being able to put other people in our shoes. Because again, like I said, in your boat, there are many other people there. But being able to know how to really look at them and say, something is happening, how can I take a step back and see what's going on? Because it's good to see other people and learn what's going on with them. Realism. There is optimism, pessimism, and realism. These days, people have become too emotional and they forget realism. Every small thing. But the reality is the fact that you might not want to hear about reality, but the truth is the fact that what is real is going to keep setting you back if you don't take care of it. Because it's not about being overtly optimistic. It's good to be optimistic, but some optimism are foolishness. You can be optimistic while acknowledging reality. Because optimism means you think everything will be good, everything will be kind, but you need to know where you are today and know how to get from where you are to where you want to be. But if you keep living in denial of what is happening around you, what happened, you won't get there. That's why self-denial is one of the most biggest diseases that you see everywhere around the world. Self-deception. We keep lying to ourselves and think things will go better tomorrow. No, it will not. You have to change that. Planning. If you don't have a plan, you become part of somebody else's plan. I think that's even a word enough. Because if you don't plan for yourself, somebody else will plan for you. And let me give you a very good example. If you don't know how much you want to spend on your shopping, especially people that like to shop, every single time, you know what happened? You go to Amazon, they will say this deal is on, as if it's free. even Macy's will send you 20% off, and you spend all your money on, and you rack up credit cards. What happened? Macy's is making money, Amazon is making money, you are becoming poorer. So if you don't have a plan for yourself, somebody else will plan for you because you become part of their plan. And that is common in many of our lives. Because we don't plan for, okay, you know what? I'm not going to spend my money on this. I will spend on this. If you don't plan for that, I was telling someone, I said, if there are things that you do for yourself about money, like I said, we do a nice amount of money, hopefully we will get someone that also speak to us about that. One thing that I do about some money is the fact that I have some savings account whereby the moment money is coming in from my paycheck, it never comes to the account that I touch. Because when it comes, you'll be tempted to spend. It goes to an account I never touch ever. because otherwise, any money that here's a funny thing. Many of us, I'm not making enough. But the funny thing is, if you just put $50 away in a place whereby it doesn't even come to you, you know what happened at the end of the year? $50 per pay period. How much do you get? 2,600, easy. Because that's $50 that's not coming to just keep going to a place, and that tell yourself, even if the house is burning, I'm not touching that money. But if you don't plan for it, what happens? Somebody else will plan to take that money away from you. Those are things to kind of pay attention to. Again, your goals. What are the goals for your life? Where do you want to be? Strategies. How do you plan to get there? Because goals are beautiful to set. The question is, if you don't have a place to get there, you won't get there. I can say, I'm going to Minneapolis. I can tell every one of you, I'm going to Minneapolis. I don't have a car. I'm not going to go by is it groom these days? I don't have any plan to go to Minneapolis, but I want to get to Minneapolis. And I'm still in Rochester. You will still have me in Rochester till you like. But you can have the goal, but you have to have it on how do you get there. Now, next one is decision making. There are times I talk about responsibility. Decision making is because many times our decisions, we outsource that to somebody else. We expect them to make decisions for us. That's not something that we should do ever. Because our decision now, we all live and die by our decisions. They determine who we are and what we will be. Our decisions are crucial to our lives. Because if you make wrong decisions, you end up in the wrong place. Now, where all of us are today, they are products of our decisions. But you can say, well, I didn't make any decision. Indecision is a decision. The fact that you didn't make it doesn't mean someone else will not make it for you. Remember, if you don't have a plan, somebody else will plan for you. If you have so much credit card today, debt, or you have a lot of, or you don't have money and everything, it might be because of decisions that you have made in the past. Now you might say, you didn't make any decision, but yet, indecision itself is a decision too. Impulsive. Some of us are very impulsive in our decisions. Something coming, you jump. If you keep jumping every time, very soon you jump into the sea. Because there are things we have agreed to because impulsive decisions, sometimes you might be lucky, but luck is not a strategy. It's not. You got a plan. Impulsive decisions never help anybody. When you are too impulsive, most of the time you make more wrong decisions than the right one. Indecision. Like I said, if you're indecisive, also, decision that you don't make also is a decision. And then whatever you get, you get. Being decisive also, because we have to be decisive because you have to make decisions. But before you make it, what do you know about decision that you have information to make the right decision? Do you have everything that you need to choose what you want to do? That's why, what I've learned on both sides is the fact that somebody will come to you, they will bring something to you. That's what, if you can be easily duped, or people can easily get money from people that scam these days and everything. If you are very impulsive, you scam you easily. Because they know that, okay, so they will say, oh, they will send an email to you. I am Mr. Jutsu from Liberia. Somebody has this $1 million somewhere. If you can give $100, now who told you how is that? How would they give you money that you don't work for? Again, if you are impulsive, and again, if you are indecisive too, you miss many opportunities. And the last one, decisions have consequences, whether good or bad. Now, consequences, when we hear the word consequence, we always think it's always bad. Consequence can be a good consequence, it can be a bad one. But every decision that you make, and the ones you don't make, they have consequences. Before we make any decision, ask yourself, what is the consequence of this decision? I was telling someone when I said if I put any money in anything, I said, when it comes to crypto, I said, I put the money that if I lose that money, I will not cry. That's the money that I said there. Because I've looked at the consequence of the fact that, okay, And if it becomes good, I will make some money. But if it becomes so bad, will I cry if I lose this money? If that's the case, I will not put my money there. But again, decisions, I always remember, decisions have consequences. And indecision also, again, like I said, indecision itself also is a decision too. So before we make anything, ask yourself, what is the consequence of my decision before you make it? Values. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Because one of the things that many of us run into is we don't have our values, our principles, things that we stand for. If you don't have principles, because what happens, as a leader, and you say you are the leader of your ship, right? If you don't have principles, somebody else will come and tell you, let's go to Bahamas. And now the same ship of the life will come, let's go to the Dominican Republic. And now will come. Because you don't tell them, I know where I'm going, I know what I will do and what I will not do. People will bring things because if you don't have, because again, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Again, things to consider. Do you just want to be liked? Because if you want to be liked, you won't have values, actually. Because your principles many times, many people don't align with it. If you want them to like you, you will always compromise your principles every single time. There are times whereby it's okay not to be liked. But people that don't like you, what happens? Secretly they respect you and admire you. There is one movie that changed my life to today about values. That, I think it's called Crossfire. I don't know if anybody, it's a Christian movie, it's been long. I watched it the first time I came to the US. I think it's a Christian movie. So what happened is, they were all talking about, every time they see that guy, they make fun of him because he's a Christian. But behind this, they were saying, one guy said, so he wasn't there. They were making fun. One guy said, we all know that guy is a real deal. But while they still, what do? They mock him so he can become part of them. So if you want to be liked, you won't have values. The other thing is, do you want to be liked or be respected? People will respect you from above because you have your values. They know what they are, but if you want to be liked, nobody will respect you. You think they can laugh with you, but behind you, what do? They mock you. Now, to you, what is acceptable and what is not? You have to determine that. What will you accept for yourself and what you will not? And the last one, what are your non-negotiables? Things you will never give up. This particular word, I learned that from the current Arsenal coach. When he came in, he said something. He said, in this team, there are non-negotiables. He said, you can't come late to training for any reason. If you don't set a non-negotiables, people will negotiate your life and sell you. You tell them, this because again, what makes you a child of God? They are non-negotiables. You tell them anything, I can play with anything, but not this one. And people know it. But if you want to be liked, when people know it, initially they will mock you, but with that they will respect you. But if you want to be liked, you won't have this. And every time, what do? You compromise every single time. Yes.
I was just going to say that I think that non-negotiables, maybe it's also a response to what the question Pastor was asking about regarding your ship being overcrowded.
Yes.
Because I think when you have your non-negotiables or you have your boundaries, right, then you'll be able to say no. Because a lot of people, they're so stressed out and overwhelmed because they don't know how to say no.
Yeah.
You say yes to everything, and before you know it, like you're the one suffering. Everybody's expecting something from you. So I think when you have non-negotiables, it also helps you to maintain these boundaries that help to only keep things in your ship that should be in your ship.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you very much for that. And I think that's one thing because all of us have to establish our non-negotiables. Whether in business, whether in career, whatever you do. Because for example, if you have a business and anybody can come to you anytime, they won't respect your time. But then you tell them, this is the time I close. What happened? Everybody they want to come to, they will come away before that time. That's the way it works. If you tell them, even if there are some things at work whereby I have my family, they come first every time. When they want to set things, they will know, okay, this person will not come. So they know what to do. So all of us to establish, because values matters. If you don't have principles, people will sell you anytime. Now, because of our time, we'll probably just skip it because I want to have some time, but we'll come back to that. Now, how do you care for your sheep? Again, responsibility. Again, you have to understand that your sheep is in your care and you are responsible for it. Every single time, never forget that because it's crucial. The second one is knowledge. What you don't know, you have to know yourself, you have to know your sheep. And every time, continue to upgrade your knowledge about yourself, about things around you. Because we say knowledge is what? Power. Self-care. Learn to take care of yourself because you direct the sheep. If you don't take care of yourself, what happens? Your sheep will not have somebody that's controlling what happens. It sinks. Because if you are sick or you are incapacitated, something else happens to your sheep. So learning to take care of oneself is crucial in the journey of our life. Another one is destination. Where is your sheep going? We'll talk about this a little bit initially because you need to know where you are going in life. What are your goals? Your goals determine who you bring into your sheep. Because if you don't have a goal, anybody will come in. And they will bring it in. If you don't, a person without a plan is what? Part of somebody else's plan. If you don't have your goals, people will take you to places you do because, again, where is your own destination is crucial. If you don't know where you are going, people will take you everywhere. We'll talk about it again. Goals. What are the key places your sheep needs to reach? Every single time. What are your goals? Because a goal for yourself will determine how you work with people. Direction. We'll talk about it that time. The strategy. How are you planning for your life? How do you plan to get your sheep to your destination? Direction is crucial. And the last one, resilience. You said you will be challenged, but you must keep sailing and keep flowing. All of us will go through life challenges. And like I said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So when you have the politics and everything keep coming at you, resilience is what comes. And we build resilience. It's not something, nobody is born with resilience. You build it as you go. Things will come your way, and that's why when you are building, because knowledge and everything, because again, people around you that can help you to build is crucial as you go in the journey of life. So this is the end of the presentation and everything. So, but I will take questions in the next 10 minutes or so. Questions about everything we had, or comments. I know there's a lot of information that we have.
I think my comment was, one, thank you for sharing all of the knowledge that you've given to us. In the recent times of, again, of course, taking stock of my life and trying to plan like what's next and all that. I think what I've heard and learned is that a lot of times, and I think I sent you this thing, that a lot of people like, what was it? Is it information? But implementation is always the challenge. Like I like all these self-help learning things. But I think the key is always like, okay, now that I have this information, what do I do with it?
Yes.
And making sure that I actually do something with it. So I think that's what I wanted to just point out is, I'm telling myself this, right? I've learned this, now what is the next thing? I need to do something about it so that it benefits me and adds value to my life and those around me. So I just wanted to point out that it's always good to implement.
Yeah, I mean the case is because it's not about hearing that matters. If you remember also, even the scripture said that, seed were planted in different places. Some fell on the rock. The one that fell on the good ground is about reflection of what you have, because you can hear it today and it blows away and then you go away. But it's about going back and do what can reflect. What did I hear? What would I do differently? And naturally, that's interesting. That I think, let me go back to the reflection that we didn't do. So, that's the reflection actually is. What is stopping you from taking control of your life? How do you plan to address it? That's the question all of us will go home with when we are done today. Because it's not about hearing it alone, it's about what will I do with it? And how will I make a change? Yes, other questions? Yes.
Thank you, sir. My question is this. As we have leader and sheep, leader is self, sheep is our life. But we only see a sailor and sheep. Then there is controlling tower that he must not neglect. He must listen. He must be our servant. How do we do that?
Thank you very much, sir. You know, one thing, if you remember at the beginning, we talked about, because the one that has the control tower of our life is who?
God.
It's God. And that's why every single time we should never, ever neglect listening to God. That time, I was talking about the fact because if you want to hear from God, you have to find a time to listen to God. You have to also, because again, you have to make up your mind that you want to listen. Because you can't say, God does, even sometimes God is speaking, but we're not hearing. Like I said, I love the analogy about the control tower, because that they are giving you signals every time. God is giving us signals and we listen. Sometimes it's because we tell us, because when you are not in control of a ship, you won't think you need signal. But when you know you are in control, you know you need help, you go to the source of the help to get signal every single time. Thank you very much. I love that.
Amen. My question is that I know this is a lot of information.
We'll send it out to everyone.
Okay. So now my question is, if should in case anybody have questions, maybe as you're going, working with this, if should in case you have questions, how maybe we need some advice. So do you have like a team that we can talk to, that we can reach out to put us through if we have any question as we're going on?
Yeah, as a church, because if you look at our website as well, you see that if you click on any of our information, any of the pastor's information, our email addresses are there. So you can send email to us right away, and then we can be able to have conversations with you. And if you're able to meet us, and even one-on-one, anyone, you can talk to any of us about that. Because again, all of us, even among ourselves too, because we have different expertise. For example, if you are looking for anything science, that's right there. If you want chemicals. No, but to be honest, because again, when it comes to finances, so all of us, project management, they are there. So all of us have different things that we all bring to the table. If you want to make your hair, you want to change, you want to design your ship. So, but again, God has given all of us different things. So, you have a pastors, also we have among ourselves, because we all have different. Nobody is an island of knowledge. So, you can talk to other pastors. Sometimes we don't have resources inside the house. We can look for it outside. So, for example, I'm not against psychologists. In fact, I try, because I'm a marriage therapist, psychologists and everything, counselors. I respect them because they have a place to be. They have a purpose. How many times as Christians we say, well, we don't need these people. Why did Jesus choose Luke, a physician, and did not rebuke him? And if you look at somebody said something that I love about the book of Luke. He said that if you look at the book of Luke and everything, the way it is, the way Luke wrote it, if every time he's describing illness better than any other person, because the physician. So that's why, again, some people will say, well, I don't need the financial person. Yes, you do. Because again, all of this play. So when we need help, let's reach out for help. Okay, we have like 5 minutes.
Thank you. And so my question is, what's the difference between leadership and management?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. These days, one of the things that management mostly has to do with a lot of management resources and not people. Because management sometimes consider people as part of the resource. But people need to be led, resources need to be managed. That's why they say, if you look at, they say, a manager also has to be a leader. But a leader may not be a manager. Because if you are a manager, you have to manage resources also and lead people. Those two, they are still connected. Again, now, in our journey of our life, you're the leader, you're also the manager too. Because if you don't manage your life, people are there to help you manage it the way they want it to be. So that's why, I mean, you are the, like I said at the beginning, we said you are the director, you are the producer, and you are the star of your movie. So everything, you are the one in charge. So they are both. These days, people talk about manager, the disparage managers. I tell them, don't have managers. You see what happens to the resources that you have. You destroy all of them because managers take their own role too. But you also need to learn to play too.
I just want to share my thought.
Okay.
The difference between manager and leader.
Yes.
Yeah, I think what the pastor has said about the difference between manager and a leader. I think leader, they are more like they inspire people.
Yes.
I mean, they coach people. Manager won't tell you like this is how something should be done. But as a leader, they will tell you, they will inspire you. They care about your emotional intelligence. They want to know how you're feeling.
Yes.
You know, they're more like they don't care about how you get a job done. Manager is more like get a job done, get it done.
Results.
But yeah, so, but the leader will be like, take your time. These are the things you need to learn. These are the things you need where to go in order to get this job done. So it's always good to be a leader.
Yeah.
I mean, what we do.
Yeah. I mean, and whichever way you look at it, because I mean, that's what he said. A good manager also is a good leader too, because they know how to balance it too.
So what I wanted to say was about your slide. What stops us from, what is it, that slide?
Yes.
I think a lot of time I think that there's a lot of fear sometimes, right, that prevents people from, I don't know, people are just afraid of taking the next step. And so my question to you today is, I think fear is a big thing that really prevents people from taking a leap. A lot of people have lots of ideas and goals and dreams, but it's fear of taking that step. So how do we be the boss of our own life and overcome fear?
Oh, that's a great question. We can spend the whole day talking about it, shouldn't we? Yeah, but one thing that I will say though is the fact that, yes, interesting thing, everybody is afraid of something. Every one of us. But the only thing is, if you know that, okay, I want to do something, I don't have what it takes, that's why you reach out to resources that can help you. Because sometimes what you want to do, all you need to take it from A to B is information. And I think I've said it here many times, because many times, for many of us as Christians, we have this complex that lives with us. I mean, I'm not going to go to an unbeliever to learn. Sometimes you need to go to them to learn. That's the truth. Because they have information that you need. The case, you can learn from people, you don't have to copy people. I was telling somebody one day, I said that people, I mean, again, it depends on where you stand on the issue of policy and everything. I said, people that people consider a bad person today, I take time to learn from them. Is if they can sell the wrong things to people, and people are buying it, which means they have a strategy to sell. Why can't I sell the truth using similar strategies too? So there are times we have, so many times, sometimes the fear that we have sometimes it boils down to lack of information. Another thing also is, if your circle that you are is making you to be afraid of the future, look for a different circle too. Because people that you have, they want to be here, and you want to be here, then do something different. So, I mean, we can talk about that a lot today, and like I said, if anybody wants one-on-one conversation, we can do that a lot more. But many times, it's fear sometimes is because what fear does, fear isolates people. That's what it does. Once you're isolated in a place, you come, but the moment you make known what you want to do, with time you get to know the things that you're supposed to do. But if fear paralyzes you, it's because you are isolated most of the time.
Okay, that's the time we come back. I don't know, probably if we go back to the values,
Yes.
where you mentioned about values. To me, I think that, and Pastor Joe talked about that tower. To me, I think in all these, as a leader, that is very, very crucial. You have to identify what it is. Because the people within your team may distract you, all other things, emotions, other things. But if you know that value. And to me, I think that even in the workplace, you irrespective of what is going on, if that value is there, you can, like the forgiveness. I remember when I started maybe there's a guy who didn't want me to be an appreciate here. I don't care who is listening. But the day he was leaving me, he called me the office and apologized. And I told him I forgive him a long time ago because I helped him and I said, I did everything since being here, but you're always there for me. I don't understand why. And so I took the time to preach to him also in his office. What I'm getting at is if you have that kind of, to me, I think that will help you.
It's the center of everything.
It's the center of everything because, as Christians, because if you don't have, you'll be destructive.
Exactly.
You definitely will not, as I said, the sheep will be looking, maybe you have to focus. So, to me, I think that is also very
the center of it is the value. Value is crucial because, for most, any good leader that you see, their value is what drives to where they are going. You compromise your value, then you're done. Yes. One last question.
It's not a question, it's just a contribution to a fear that we are talking about. I think mostly, one of the things that bring fear is about facts and the truth. There are things that present themselves as facts, but they are not true. So that is where fear comes at times. That is what I want to say. And lastly, the seminar is very good and for every ages. But I want to employ, if there will be a time when our youths can gather together and get all these seminars, though it's online, but I didn't have time to sit down to listen to it. That is my...
Yes, sir. That's something that we need to spend some time on. And I've been thinking about the best way to really do that also. And we'll also talk about what to do, especially with the youth, because it's crucial. Because the mistakes that many of us make, you shouldn't make a mistake. Because if you know me and you are new to the US, I always tell you, don't make the same mistake that I made. I was here in the US for almost 8 years. I was a serious student, which is good. But things I could have achieved before because I was isolated. Again, because relationship matters. I was just there on my own. It's good to be a serious student, but at the same time, don't ignore relationship because they are one that, because if you can know everything, if nobody knows you, it's irrelevant. So, and that's why I always say, because you shouldn't make the same mistakes that we make. How do we help them not to fall the same trap that we fall to? Before we wrap up today, I want to share this first quote with us. And it says that you cannot outsource your life responsibility to someone else and expect to be fulfilled. Many of us, what we do naturally, we outsource our life responsibility to somebody else every single time. And then we are like, why am I not fulfilled? No, you can't be fulfilled. Because you are responsible for your life. Don't give your boat to somebody else. And also, don't keep saying, well, I'm waiting for God. Most of the time, God is waiting for you. God said, remember the first thing that we said, He said, be fruitful, multiply, rule over the world, have dominion. And then you are still saying, well, God will. And God is saying, no, it's not my fault, it's your fault. So everything that God has given to us, how are we leading our lives? And also, is it aligned? Are we, thank God for that. Are you in tune with the tower? If you are not, reflect on it. Because sometimes what may be stopping you from living your life the right way might be because you've lost touch with the tower. If you have to go back to that, it's crucial. So thank you very much for your time today. And we know it's we are over time, but by the grace of God, next quarter also we talk about finances. And that will bless us. Have a good weekend, everyone.